Baking and Cooking with Bettina!
Carlos, our family name!
Yeah, our family name. So today, I want to share with you the recipe of my favorite cookie. And this is very dear to my heart because it came from my first favorite cookie growing up, which is Mrs. Fields Cookies. And this recipe, we shared where? Yes, we shared this when I taught baking 2 years ago. And as a newbie baker, cookies actually, yan ang unang-unang gusto nilang subukan. Today, I'm gonna share with you the best recipe for your chocolate chip
Action.
So, we'll start with
Butter.
yeah, butter. But our butter for this recipe is browned butter. So,
Do they come from home?
no, it's called brown butter because we will cook it. Browning butter, basically,
It smells so good.
yeah, you extract the water and you toast the milk proteins para maging nutty siya, mas flavorful, mas malalim yung lasa niya. Please remember that whatever state of your butter is that's stated in the recipe, it affects your batter.
Yeah, it affects, it makes the taste come out.
Yes, it has a different effect. If it says softened butter, if it says melted butter, if it says brown butter, iba-iba lahat ng effect yan sa batter. So,
But it could still work.
of course, it will still work, but
Non-fail.
yeah, no fail. Okay, so let's start. So first, we'll brown butter. I'll teach you how to brown butter, okay? So we set the pan on medium. Here, baby, you stay here behind me. Get the butter. We'll put it on the pan. Hot already. See, it splatters. It splatters because there's water.
After it will be okay.
Yes, we'll add it. And sugar. Aray ko tumatas. Bakit mo ako sinasaktan? Hindi naman kita inaano ah. Bakit na lang lagi mo ako sinasaktan? Wala naman ako palaban-laban.
It smells so good.
It smells good already. We hope you can smell it. You will notice that as the butter melts, the color changes.
It becomes maybe brownish.
Okay. It changes. The color changes. When you brown butter, very careful. No, like this. It's important that you use a light colored pan or a stainless pan because you need to see the bottom. Kasi baka di mo alam sunog na pala. Diba? And you also use a silicone spatula so that you can easily scrape the bottom. So now, di ba tumahimik siya? Ibig sabihin, nawala na yung water. And we are left with fat and the milk proteins. Fat is the yellow one. Milk proteins, siya yung that well combined. So using the whisk is also a good way to cool it because you add in air. So we brown. This may take maybe 2 to 3 minutes. Okay? Especially if you're not using a mixer. So why is it important to cool the butter? Because you will add an egg. Hindi siya magiging scrambled egg. Hindi siya maluluto. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, Gummy will show you how to crack an egg perfectly. Okay?
Perfect.
Okay, one thing. When a recipe calls for an egg, it's always important, I always suggest that you crack the egg first in a bowl and not directly to your mixing bowl. Why? Especially if you have a lot of eggs, paano pag yung isa bugok? Paano kung yung pangatlo bugok at diniretso mo? So it's best if you put it first in a bowl and then isa-isa yung transfer. Okay? Para less disgrasya. Ayoko na ulit ma-disgrasya. Okay? Wow! Yeah! Perfect egg! Good job, Baba! Yay! I'll teach you what I call the brown bag method. I suggest this when you're baking because less hugasin. You put all your dry ingredients. Dry ingredients natin are bread flour, baking soda, and salt. Why bread flour? I'm sure you're gonna ask. Why not all-purpose flour? Parang first time that there's a cookie na bread flour. Well, bread flour is the secret why this cookie is chewy. Kaya siya may kagat, kaya siya may bite, because it's bread flour, not all-purpose flour. And why only baking soda? Why not baking powder? Because the effect of baking powder is pataas. So the end result of your cookie, para siyang cakey. Masyadong airy. Baking soda, the way it expands is sideways. Okay? And it gives it a different flavor. Okay? So all our dry ingredients go inside our brown bag. Flour, baking soda, and our salt. Okay. So see, it's easier when you will pour it. Good job.
Because sometimes I'm very dangerous.
Okay, our nuts are okay na. See? So the way to toast nuts, it's either you pop it in the oven, toaster oven, or lagay nyo sa pan. But for now, this is how toasted nuts look like. Okay? And we'll transfer it in a bowl so that lalamig na siya because medyo mainit. Okay? Again, you let it cool first before adding it in because the temperature of your ingredients will change the result of your batter. Okay? There. So, it's so easy.
Mama, could I pour now the egg?
Okay. Butter and sugar, and then egg, and then if you have vanilla extra,
Pour the egg.
and then dry ingredients, and then your add-ons.
Instead of just pouring the whole thing, maybe you could just pour first the
You can just dump everything, but it's just one egg. Experiment siya, guys. Kasi, when you bake with your kids, syempre na-excite sila, oh, cookies, oh, chocolates, we want to try it. They tend to dip and taste. But it's bad because there's raw egg. They might get sick, okay? Now, when you add egg, you're not supposed to overmix it. Okay? Just mix it well enough for it to be integrated into your other ingredients. Okay? Now, we add our dry ingredients. What you gonna do? Okay. See? Less mess, and less hugasin. Thank you, Baba. Thank you. Okay, it's done na. Lalo naman ba sisipo ko na. Thank you, my love. Okay, so you show them figure 8.
It's okay if it's just 2 circles like that.
Okay, the best way, the most efficient way to incorporate your ingredients
Will it
is...
become a dough?
Yeah, okay though. Is to do the figure 8. Yeah, nursery.
Can I?
Okay, now at this point, we can switch to the spatula. Because our cookie dough is maganit. It's very thick. Because this is classic chocolate chip cookies, it always has walnuts. So you put walnuts, and you put chocolates. You can use chocolate drops, or you can use
I'm mixing
chocolate
it
bars
for
that
you.
you just chop
I'm
coarsely.
mixing it.
After fully mixing this, kailangan natin tong i-ref. It needs to chill, baby. So later, I will show you and explain kung bakit kailangan na i-chill ang dough. Kasi may kinalaman to sa thickness ng actual cookie natin. Okay? Assistant! Where's my cookie dough?
Here. So heavy.
And so cold. So here's our cookie dough. after just 30 minutes of chilling. You can go longer, up to 3 days. Actually, it's best if after chilling,
Maybe
you
if
scoop
you
them na
like-
and freeze them so that pag may bisita ka, you still bake freshly baked cookies. Okay? Why do we have to chill our cookie dough aside from the flavor? Because meron tayong tinatawag na spreading. Spreading is how thin your cookies become when you bake them. If we did not chill this, considering na very runny siya kanina, once we bake it, super nipis niya. But because we chilled it, we can expect a higher, a taller, and a chunkier finish. But before that, okay, let's prepare our cookie sheets. So, it is always a must to bake with paper. Okay? Ito ang sikreto para yung edges ng cookies mo rounded. Other cookies kasi, nagpa-flatten sila.
Yeah.
Yung parang flat yung dulo. So the secret to that is using either a baking mat or baking
Parchment
paper.
paper.
Parchment paper. Okay? Very good. And
Now,
how do we make it stick? Don't use wax paper because wax paper burns. So, kahit the edges lang. This is shortening. We don't use butter because it burns fast. So, it will burn the bottom of your cookies. We use shortening because it doesn't behave like butter. So, we'll just put shortening on the pan and then lalagyan natin yung paper. So, meanwhile, while she's busy talking and putting shortening, I'm gonna start to make the cookie dough balls. So, I have here an ice cream scooper. Why an ice cream scooper? Para pare-pareho sila ng sizes. Same sizes means same baking time. They finish all at the same time. So, I want to make large, chunky cookies. Talagang like Mrs. Fields talaga. So, make 2 and then I roll it in
I
a
feel
ball.
like I'm baking.
Yeah, but not so much. You just put on the edges. Okay? Another tip, don't ball it so much with the palm of your hands. Kasi, yung init ng kamay mo matatransfer sa cookie dough. It will start to be warm na. Mas bibilis siya mag-spread.
So I'm putting it first like
Sige,
that.
put this here first.
And then I'll just...
Before you even start
Mama,
balling them,
could I
preheat your oven na.
remove this
Yeah, just one.
one for each hand?
Yes, very good. You're such a big girl na gum. Wow! Pulidong-pulido magtrabaho. And by the way, this is also Gummy's favorite cookie. When we did this in our baking class, lagi siyang may take home. It's important to put at least 2 inches in between your cookie balls. Why? Pag nag-spread siya, you don't want them na magkakadikit. Okay? Kasi pag nagdikit-dikit sila, there's no more heat in between the cookies para maluto yung edges. If you make them wait, they start spreading bago mo pa siya ipasok sa init. So, pwede naman tong smaller cookies. Isang scoop lang. And the baking time will be shorter. Also, it's very important na magkakasing dami sila ng dough balls, ng cookie dough sa isang pan. So, we'll leave it to bake. This is fast lang. 8 to 10 to 12 minutes. Okay, depends on how big, how many they are. Yes, your cookies are ready.
Yum!
So these are my cookies. Okay.
I cannot wait to see the cake.
And this is your happy owl cookie.
This one is supposed to be a heart.
Yes. Okay. So, after taking the cookies out of the oven, diretso siya sa cooling rack.
Mama,
Now,
could we already...
whoop! No, don't touch. It's still hot. Why on a cooling rack? Because you need it to stop cooking. Dahil nagko-cook through pa siya. You need air to flow under para mag-stop yung cooking niya. Now, you're not supposed to remove it diretso dahil masisira yung cookie mo. You have to let it set. Okay, so 5 to 10 minutes here on the pan, still on the cooling rack. Then after that, you remove them one by one using the spatula. One more thing about cookies, some recipes will tell you, bake until they're golden brown. Don't believe that. Because When you wait for them to be golden brown, by the time ilabas mo at nag-finish through na siya, nag-cook through na siya, matigas na yung cookie. So after 5 minutes, it's not so hot anymore. But just to make sure, okay? So we'll use this spatula to lift them. Why this? Yes. Kasi if you just use your hands,
you will get burnt.
Aside from that, you'll get burned. Pero hindi mo cleanly makukuha yung ilalim. See? It's perfect. Maybe 15-20 minutes for it to completely cool. Before you place it inside the jar because otherwise, lalambot siya. Okay, I'm sure it's nice to eat a warm cookie with some milk.
So
But before that,
we have to do the word of the day.
it's from Matthew 17 verse 20.
If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can
You can say
to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you.
that's true. Nothing will be impossible for you. So in the light of our baking, if you are also a wannabe baker and you're afraid but you really want to try, make sure that you have
faith.
Faith is the most important ingredient, whether it's in cooking, in baking, in anything.
Yeah.
And I would always tell my students that when they're baking, kailangan manalig sila that it will work. Okay? So, if you have the faith that can move mountains, definitely you can bake. Okay? Alright, it's time to enjoy our cookies.
So what do you think I should do?
It's so good. Thank you for joining us this week. And we hope to see you next week on ABC about baking and cooking with Bettina Carlos. Thank you so much. And Gummy! See you next week. Enjoy the weekend. God bless you all.